It's been 10 years since I first disclosed some of the things that happened to me.
I remember the years it took all the children, and they locked them away. There they taught them to pray. There were children each night who were quietly crying. They are in the walls and the halls of my mind, alone in the walls and the halls of their mind.
I was a pretty free-spirited kid, very uppity, spirited, played lots, like fighting and playing, and so I was constantly fighting, I think, with the other boys, those Inuit, Inuvialuit kids, Métis kids, other Dene kids, and every day I got beaten by the non. I was thrown into storage rooms for hours at a time. Left there until after dark. I had sores on my back, and not my back, but like on my head and my arms. That nun knew where they were, and she'd hit me on that. Because she knew, like she disliked me so much that I'd walk by and she'd hit me, she'd hit me on the head. It was just paralyzing. Took a skipping rope and tied knots in it and whipped. But I couldn't say that, because I felt these are people of God. These are people that work for God, devote their life to God, and they do things like that. It must be because I'm horrible, evil, so bad that even God doesn't like me. I was 9 years old, and I was sexually abused. And I lived with that. I couldn't escape, couldn't go anywhere.
You will pray with the prophet, admiration.
I was a lot of anger towards my father. I felt he could have saved me, but he was there, to send me away year after year.
Paid for selling you, and your passion will make a prison and change the world you're living in.
The first time my dad sent me away, I was 9 years old, and the whole family was sick, tuberculosis. All my grandparents, all my uncles, all my aunts, all my brothers and sisters. And my dad himself, so he sent us away. And it just, I guess recently that I stopped raging about it and realized my father loved me, and he tried very hard to take care of me, but he didn't. And the fact that he didn't was what made me angry and was not rational.
And And somewhere in your journey, you'll despair that all will end. But he'll calm your storm and sea, and he'll find some peace within. And you'll go on to do what the Master meant for you, and his love will fill the emptiness and change the world you're living in.
When I was 12, I was sent away again. The Catholic priest who was in charge of us, his name was Father Poshite. And Father Poshite took care of me for 6 years. And more in the last 5 years, I've gone to embrace the fact that he was my father for 6 years. You know, he took me and a group of us, and he took care of us, inspired us, made us work. And out of that residential school experience, as lonely and as miserable as we were without our families, he turned it into a positive experience. But if I had my preferences, I would have gone to high school in my hometown. My parents didn't raise me. You know, I was basically gone about all my life. I came back when I was 18. I was a stranger. You know, you become a stranger to your own land, to your own community, to your own family. You know, left to myself, I would spend days and days without having to see anybody, talk to anybody. And yet I was a politician.
You afraid to feel, afraid to feel.
I never wanted to be in a situation where I would never be in control again. I always want to be in control. And I hated government because they always said they were in charge. They were going to run my life, run my people. They were going to decide what was good for me. I hated that with an intense passion. And anybody else that tried to do that, you know, the church, anybody. My politics was always very brash and hard-hitting. It was kind of like a take no prisoners approach. We're trying to grapple with the government to change policies, get our land back, set up governments, get a share of revenue from our natural resources. And when I retired, I just felt like a burnt-out old soldier sitting at a kitchen table with everybody gone. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't do anything else. You know, I'd come to the point where there's nobody to fight anymore. It started a struggle. You know, it was just redefining myself, trying to find myself and deal with the reason why I was so angry and militant. And cold, I guess, detached about many things I did. I have 3 children, who raised them, but mostly my wife did that. My wife knew how to take children and raise them and teach them and cultivate values in them. I didn't know how to do that. And I realized it's because of the residential school experience, and that I needed to let myself talk about the experiences and the pain and the loneliness, the incredible anger that it instilled in me. Well, I went through counseling, and I could tell you, I thought it'd be easy. I thought I'll just tell some of the stories. I'll cry a little bit, and I'll do it in the privacy of some office. The first time I talked about some specific incidents of sexual abuse, I lost control of my body for almost 6 hours. I was on the floor. I was in the bathtub. I thought I was going to die. But I wanted to live, and after all the throwing up and the revulsion that my body went through, these things that I've been holding for so long, I could look at myself, I think I changed my clothes 4 times in those 6 hours. I just completely soiled myself. But every time I took a shower, I cleaned myself up. I knew then, I guess, that I was strong enough to live through it, because I laughed, I looked at myself for the last time about 8 o'clock in the evening, for the 4th time dressed up in my last set of clean clothes, and I said, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to go out there again. And it was a lot of work, and in the end, my wife and I separated for 3 years. I went off to be alone in my own misery. I didn't want to deal with anybody. And I started writing songs. Very first song I wrote was called In the Walls and Halls of Your Mind. It's about my memory of residential school, the hallways and the dark rooms.
I remember the years it took all the children.
And through that process, I come to grips with being able to see everything that is, in fact, beautiful, and stop running. I got back together with my wife. As it turned out, my biggest enemy was myself. So I'm more at peace with myself than I've ever been in my life. And it's been 10 years since I first disclosed some of the things that happened to me. Many Canadians don't know. They think, why are these Aboriginal people always complaining? Why are they always on Skid Row? Why are they always drinking? We have to make amends. We didn't grow up in a family setting. We didn't grow up with our uncles and aunts. The whole people are trying to learn how to regain the parenting skills. And that's going to take a couple of generations. We deserve to be happy. We should be able to enjoy the sun and the beautiful things around us without being caught all the time in the anger and the darkness and the horrible things that we went through as kids in residential school.
Reaches down in that hole to the pain in his soul. Now he knows his child who's been quiet